are you?
Yeah, doing good, thank you. It's been a little while, huh?
It has been. So last time we had a chance to do a video together, we were actually at HKS headquarters in
almost
Japan.
4 years ago.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Right.
But now we're at the SEMA show. You guys have an incredible booth. I love the throwback car here. You have the R33, which I actually know a little bit about the story, but I don't know the full story.
Sure.
And then you have a couple of the newer cars like the GR Corolla and also the new Z.
Right.
But let's talk about this car. I know this has a really interesting history within HKS.
Sure. So this one is what we at HKS call T-002. There was a T-001, it was a Toyota Supra, it did a lot of high-speed runs and things like that. T-002 is, as you can see, R33 GTR Skyline. And when it was first created, it did a lot of time attack at Tsukuba. Well, I say a lot, it did a little bit of that. And at the time in the mid-90s, when the R33 was still the newest car, it was still very difficult for tuners and shops to break 1 minute at Tsukuba. And this car ran a 58.7 second lap. So
was it one of the first to break a minute?
I don't know if it was the first, but it was up there amongst them. So it was pretty special at the time.
It was just of that era when that was like the mark that you needed to hit to show how fast your car was.
And still today, breaking 1 minute is a fast time. But at the time, it was very special. So I guess the 1 minute mark back then is how we regard like the 50-second mark, which has just been recently broken. I say relatively recently, but it was like a pretty special achievement. And each time we keep breaking it, we look for that new wall. And at the time, breaking 1 minute was pretty special. So it managed to achieve that. But then, once the job was done with that, it was like, what's the next thing to do? In the early to mid 90s, a lot of cars were running very high horsepower. So the natural thing was to try and chase top speeds. There were people running 200 miles an hour plus 320, 330 kilometers an hour. And it was starting to get very dangerous at the track that they were using for that at Yatabe. It's quite a small banked circuit. And so the people who were organizing these events decided to change direction and say, okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to do 0 to 300, as in standing start to 300 kilometers an hour. I think that's what, 186 miles an hour, something like that.
Still very fast.
A little over 180 miles an hour, so you're accelerating from standstill. So it can't be just a drag car, it can't do just a quarter mile, it can't be just a high-speed car because you've got to get there quickly. So it became a new genre that people were chasing, and cars were starting maybe in the mid-20s, high 20s, and it was coming down lower and lower and lower into the lower 20-second mark.
What's crazy to me is back then the safety standards were just not there. Tire technology was not there, but the cars were still going so fast.
Yeah, it was just crazy street cars just being tuned super, super hard.
Amazing. So then, this was built for scuba, time attack, 0 to 300 kilometer racing. What else did this do?
Well, essentially that's where the story of this car ends, is that in 1996, the 0-300 kilometer time that is set was 17.6 seconds. And that, for a couple years thereafter, when they continued to run these 0-300 events, was a record that was never broken in Japan. So for the 0-300 trials in the mid-90s, this held the record and kept it for a good couple of years. It doesn't have insane 0-60 time, so 0 to 100 is about 3.5 seconds. It's quarter.
What?
Its quarter mile time is 10.6 seconds, so as a drag car, it's not like the most amazing thing, but because this car was built for a 0 to 300 run, it continues to accelerate beyond that point. So that's what the car was built for.
What's crazy to me is how subtle it is, realistically, from the outside.
Almost stock body.
Yeah, almost stock body. Besides the graphics, if you took off the HKS Power traditional graphics, it just looks like a black GTR with white wheels.
Sure thing.
Yeah.
Let's show you some parts that are less stock.
Okay. I love it. I love that you guys brought the throwback liveries on all three cars. While I love the oil splash livery,
Right.
This is just so cool. Very, very iconic.
So yeah, this was redone in 2019. The car was refreshed in 2019 and displayed at Tokyo Auto Salon. And then the car was auctioned. And the buyer happened to be a guy based in Arizona, by complete coincidence, not far from where our USA office is. Really nice guy. And he's loaned us the car for display at SEMA 23. So thank you very much, Jordan.
Yeah, so you actually, HKS as a company restored it for display.
That's right.
I see.
So
Okay.
at the time, the car ran a 2.7 litre engine, twin 3037 turbos, and was about 900 horsepower. You can see here.
You mean in the 90s?
In the 90s.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
So then in this current refreshed state, we have what was at the time quite a new thing for us when we started making our complete engines, and we were selling them as complete engines. You'll see this one is serial number 001.
Wow, what a special engine. Amazing.
And it has the HKS VCAM kit on it as well, so has the variable intake valve timing, and then runs the GT3 5R, which was the largest turbo we did at the time. It's about 1,000, maybe a little bit more capable turbo. In its current state right now, as it gets driven, because the current owner does drive it, it's probably around 800 horsepower.
That is impressive. Very, very cool. What a great story. It's just cool that it's still kind of in the family. Yes. You know, the current owner is somebody that actually appreciates the history.
Oh, we couldn't have lucked into a better new owner, I have to say.
So you essentially you have like the caretaker of this really historic car in HKS history. Amazing. So is there anything else modified on the inside or anything?
Only the fuel cell. There might be a few things.
So it does run a fuel cell setup.
You have to excuse some of the cleaning stuff
no
that's in there. But
can we take a look at the interior?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, it is fully gutted. This is, no question, a full-on race car. It is fully gutted. It's actually pretty finished.
A lot of this is still quite original from the mid-90s. Some of it was refreshed, admittedly, but yeah, it's pretty close to how it ran back then.
It is kind of cool. It does seem like it's from the era.
Yes.
You know, in terms of like weight savings.
That was important for the refresh because we didn't want to modernize it and turn it into a car like it was built at the time. We still wanted it to be T-002, but brought into the modern times.
That is really neat. This is cool. You could still fill up gas here, I guess. The gas release.
That opens the rear trunk.
Oh, this just opens the rear trunk now?
Yes.
Oh, okay. It's not the gas release. Got it. Okay. Huh. The cage looks like it's from era too, huh? Mostly built in. It's all gutted, but all the interior is finished, or at least it was stripped and repainted. Huh. Very, very neat. I love it. So cool. Of course, love the wheel and tire combo too. Serious brake setup. You gotta love the Advent GTs. Endless brakes. So was this stuff done too during the refresh? Do you
yes.
know? Okay. Yeah, because those are brand new wheels. That is so cool. I love it. What can you tell me a little bit about the other cars that you guys have in the booth?
Sure. Okay, so the new Nissan Z. The most obvious thing, I guess, is the fact that we have our wide body kit on it. It's still prototype at the moment, but we're pretty close to releasing it pretty much as is in terms of its appearance and design.
It's really nice. It's very subtle,
right?
Compared to a lot of the wide body kits that have come out. And I really like it. It
looks wider than it actually is.
Yeah, it really adds to the original design of the car. I think it looks great. You got a bunch of HKS carbon fiber bits too?
Yes, so we've got the panel here to help with the cooling, and then we have the ducted versions here as well, so that it sends the air in, and then the cover for the engine, and then our new carbon fiber tower braces, and these are not metallic wrapped in carbon, they're a full carbon fiber brace. And we actually work with a company called Composite Design, and what they do is they're world leaders in making shafts for golf clubs. So they understand how carbon fiber flexes and exactly how much and when, and that's what we've gone for. We haven't gone for a fully rigid design here. What we wanted to achieve was the right amount of flex to complement the chassis in order to improve the handling without unnecessarily making the chassis rigid.
This is really cool. So it's like a full fender cap or replacement?
I believe it is, yes.
This is such a neat design too. I love this. It is really aggressive.
So
very, very cool.
This is the same kit as what we actually displayed at Auto Salon back in January, but the back here was open on that version. But we've sealed this here. We've actually added the rear markers to suit the US specification. So we've modified this one a little bit to be a little more American.
Right. And of course you have exhaust on this.
Prototype muffler.
Can we take a look at the GR Corolla?
Of course.
You got exhaust on this.
Yep. Hypermax suspension, of course, on both cars.
What have you guys done to the G16 here?
So, obviously, we had a bit of a head start with G16. Yaris has been around in Japan for a little bit now. So on this specific car, we haven't gone as far as adding the stroker kit, which we have on display here at the booth as well. But you'll see that we have the cover. I believe that directly transfers over from the Yaris. We've got the prototype carbon fiber piped intake kit here with the ducting in place. We'll have that available as a full product soon. You've got the fuse box cover there with the power editor that raising the boost a little bit. The intercooler's been changed as well. And again, we're finalizing that to be ready as a product to go.
This is going to be so hot for you guys in terms of people wanting to modify their GR Corollas, you know.
I think so too.
Good luck trying to find an unmodified GR Corolla in 5 years. You know,
well,
everyone is going to be.
If they're modified with HKS parts, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Can we take a look at that stroker kit? So
sure.
When did you guys announce that?
It's not released yet.
Okay.
We're just close to it.
Yeah.
So
I want to take a look at it because this is interesting to me.
Of course. It's just here.
Oh. So then what does it increase the displacement to?
1.75 liters.
Oh. So expected release date is 2024. That is so cool.
So yeah, pistons, rods, the crank. We're doing a couple of different thicknesses of head gasket. A lot of people thinking it's just half of a head gasket kit for a V6. No, that's the whole thing, right?
Yeah,
it's only 3 cylinders.
it's 3 cylinders.
And also we're looking to do a head stud kit as well, because our analysis is showing that could be, you know, a thing that's going to be required when you start to push up this way.
Yeah. The cool thing about this is it could be used for the Corolla and the Yaris.
Absolutely.
And then whatever else Toyota comes up with in the future.
Hopefully loads more things with this engine, because it's a very good engine.
Yeah, it's super cool. And also on top of that, who would have thought 3-cylinder would be so desirable, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're of a certain age where like more cylinders was more better, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, in this modern day and age where efficiency is king, if you can still produce the power and do it with less moving parts, less emissions and fuel consumption and things, then why not? We run the piston pin really high up the piston here, so then you can install the rod, and then the top half comes in.
Whoa.
And
that is so crazy. It
down.
screws on.
And
so then you don't sacrifice.
Exactly. If you wanted to run the pin higher, you wouldn't have the space for the rings. So now the pin can run up higher. You still have the space for the rings, which means the rod length doesn't have to be compromised, which is more ideal for the higher power applications we would expect for somebody to use with the 3-liter. If I compare this to the piston for the Corolla, you can see, if I line up the tops, how different the pin height is.
So then it being screwed on, like, does it need to be torqued on, or how does that work?
Yes, it will. And then there's also a set screw to go in the back as well.
That is so cool. Okay, that way it doesn't turn or anything.
Yes.
Ah.
So
That is really neat. I love that. Yeah, that is super cool. What a great solution. You're overcoming this with technology.
yes.
You know, and I think that is so neat. It is unbelievable, like what the Yaris and the Corolla are capable of. I'm actually jealous that you guys got the Yaris. I would love a Yaris, but it's also cool that we at least get the Corolla still.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a great engine transmission platform. The four-wheel drive system works really, really well. I do see it being a very strong contender in competition as well. I think there's going to be a lot of interesting track cars built off of this platform.
Yeah. Hopefully I get to come visit you guys again this year at Tokyo Auto Salon.
Oh, hopefully so. There's
Yeah.
always something interesting going on at Auto Salon.
Cool. All right, I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Aaron.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to support us directly, go to larrychenprints.com. I print and sign every single one of these. This is the perfect gift, or it's the perfect piece of art for your wall.